Alright, today we'll be learning about exponents that are fractions and negatives for the second video of the properties of exponents. Alright, here's our first example problem, x to the 1/2 power. This can be rewritten as root x, and this is the reason why. So if we have x to the 1/2 times itself, which is x to the 1/2, that is equal to x, and that's because when we're multiplying two like bases with exponents, you add the exponents, and 1/2 plus 1/2 is equal to 1. So, and that's just plain x. So the other math function that we know that also does this is root x. So if you take root x times root x, that's equal to the same thing, x. So that means x to the 1/2 must be root x. So now looking at 9 to the 1/2 power. So if we rewrite that as the square root of 9, we can simplify that to 3. Pretty easy. Alright, now looking at these next two example problems, we have x to the 1/3, and that's rewritten as the cubed root of x. And this is why. So if we take x to the 1/3 times itself 3 times, what we result in is x. Alright, now this happens again with the cubed root of x, multiplying itself by 3 times, we get x. So that must mean x to the 1/3 and the cubed root of x is the same thing. So now we're looking at 729 to the 1/3. We can rewrite that as the cubed root of 729. That's supposed to be a 2. Alright, now the cubed root of 729 is 9. And we know that because 9 cubed is equal to 729. Alright, now on to the last two example problems. We have x to the 3/2 power. Now we can rewrite this as x cubed with a square root. So if we have x cubed, that is equal to x to the 3/1 power. And if we have x to the 1/2, that's equal to root x. So if we have 1/2 multiplied by 3/1, that is equal to 3/2, which is our exponent. So if we have 8 to the 3/2 power, that's the same thing as taking 8 cubed, which is 512. Alright, now we have to do the bottom part, so the square root. So the square root of 512, that's not a perfect square, so we can just leave it as root 5/12. Alright, and that's it for fractional exponents. Now let's move on to negative exponents. For looking at the first problem, we have x to the negative first. So whenever you see a -1 as the exponent, in math we know that is the inverse of the function. So we have x here, so we have x over 1, which is equal to x. So the inverse of x over 1 is 1 over x. Alright, so that's how we do that. So moving on to x to the negative second power, we have x to the negative second over 1. And with the negative, we have to flip it over, so that gives us 1 over x. Now we got to make this exponent positive since it's on the bottom now. So we get 1 over x squared. Alright, now let's do this 5 to the negative second power. Alright, so we have 5 to the negative second, so that's equal to 1 over 5 squared. And 5 squared is 25, so we have 1 over 25. So that's pretty much all we have for you today. Here I've laid out 5 practice problems for you that I want you to try, and I'll have the answers in the description. Thank you for watching.